Hello, hi, Samir. Welcome to Founders Podcast.
Thanks for having me, Ash. Excited to be here.
Great. So usually our episode starts with a different kind of ice-breaking, technique. But today I want to do something different. I've been going through your profile and I learned so much, and I think you do things differently. So I thought, let's do something different in this episode. So why don't we go ahead and tell our listeners, like, why should they listen to you?
Why should your listeners listen to me? I was in a networking event last night, and I was thinking about how I'm sort of one of the most dangerous guys in the room because I don't have an ask, and I don't have anything to sell.
Yeah.
And those are usually the most dangerous people in the room that can help other people connect. But, I'm not pitching anybody or anything else. So I guess it's the same here. I'm here to provide as much value as I can to your audience. And I have no vested interest in anything else.
Indeed. You've traveled quite a lot. You've been to more than around 35 countries now. How has that shaped your entrepreneurial mindset? Give us a little bit of juice.
Everyone should travel. Everyone should travel. I mean, it gives you different perspectives on so many things. And I think depending on where you live in the world, in the country, wherever, it gives you just completely different perspectives, right? And sometimes it can make you more grateful for what you have, where you are, what have you, because obviously we all are used to where we live. But I think the other aspect, sometimes it can flip it, right? If you live in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, no offense if there's anybody in Kansas listening to this, and you all of a sudden go to Miami, wow, the opportunities that are here are endless, the connections and everything else. I think my two, not to be cliche, I hate saying it because it sounds a little cliche, but my two favorite words in business are leverage and proximity. And in business, I think it's important to surround yourself with like-minded individuals, get into networks, get into masterminds, get into groups. You could do those things remotely, so it's not totally relying on where you are based. But the more proximity you can get, most likely the more leverage you can also get. I don't know. I think it's just when you see other cultures, when you see the way other people do things, it just opens up your eyes. I mean, even ideas I've had for businesses have come from traveling, where I just see different cultures and how they do different things, right? I mean, it's incredible. You go to Africa and the way that they're using mobile devices is like, in India, for example, right, is far more advanced than in the US almost. And you would think Americans would be doing those things, right? Or like you look at China and WeChat and what they've accomplished with that app, and you're like, what have we done in America? It's crazy, right? We have nothing like that. And from a business sense, you just get to see so many different things. It opens your eyes, and and it's just, and don't do the touristy stuff. That's fine, whatever. But also try to actually really explore the culture. I think that's the other piece. Someone goes, oh, I went to this place and it was amazing. What did you do? Oh, I stayed in all-inclusive for 5 days. Okay, well, you didn't really experience the place or the culture or the people or the real food or what have you. So I guess that would be the other thing too. Get out of your comfort zone and go actually explore.
Couldn't agree more with this. I mean, I've been to few myself. I think last visit was Romania, Bucharest.
Really?
We went,
Nice.
we went to see.
My wife's Romanian.
Is it? Oh,
I met her in Romania.
So she can tell you that it's so beautiful.
Well, I've
We
been.
went to,
I lived there probably 9 months. I loved it. It's a
perfect.
great country.
Isn't it? And then the place where you go to see the Dracula, right? That place is like booming. And I was just coming out of it, and then there was like small, these street market kind of stalls. It's a proper store, but it's not like a proper Londonish store, right? So you're walking by, and then my partner is like, let's find a restaurant to, have a coffee or some food. And it's like, you know what? Let's have the food in these small stalls to see like how much we can buy and then how good it is. And that's where I had my life's one of the best burger. Can you imagine that? Like it's mind blowing that I actually spoke with the store manager or the owner, whosoever what that lady is, about the recipe, the instrument they have bought. She has bought an instrument of 30,000 euros just to like make that burger. Can you imagine in that remote place? So, couldn't agree more. It's amazing. You have to travel and experience. So let's get back to our found space section then. You have scaled brands to millions, not just with straightforward technology, but also with AI. And now you're teaching founders how to do that. Would you be able to give us a little bit background from your side, like where you grown up, where your roots from, and what actually triggered you to get into the entrepreneurial space?
My dad was an entrepreneur, so certainly that shaped me at a young age from just seeing him hustle and deal with, yeah, just do deals and all types of things. I think at a young age I had no idea what an entrepreneur was. I think he considered himself a consultant, and I was like, I don't even know what a consultant is. Kid, when you're a kid, people are like, what does your dad do? I'm like, I have no idea. Yeah, and I mean, for me, it's freedom. Freedom's one of my core values, and I think nothing else provides you with more freedom. Time freedom, money freedom, right? I mean, there certainly are the jokes where, hey, I work 80 hours so I don't have to work 40. And that's still about freedom in a way, because you get to determine what you do and no one else tells you what you do. But once you're able to actually grow to a certain point, build the right systems and processes, delegation and hiring an A+ team, you do start to have some time freedom. I mean, that's why I was able to go to so many countries, because I just got to travel a lot, and I still worked, but not slaving away in million hours and everything else. And yeah, I wanted experience first, because I think that's so important. I tried to start a business or two in college and quickly realized, okay, I don't have that much experience. I even went to school for entrepreneurship and the professors were pretty much useless. I mean, I literally took an HR class and I'm like trying to hire a couple employees and I'm like, so what do I do? And they're like, no, we don't talk about that here. We're way up here. Like if you have 50,000 employees, well, how does this help me? And, and so for whatever, take it for whatever you will. Like it wasn't that helpful, let's say, in my entrepreneurial, world, life. And yeah, I always knew I wanted to do something, but for me, it was always just making sure that I did it with integrity and it was something that I believed in and it was something that I was really good at. And then I could actually deliver a really great service or product, because I think that's important for me. I'm great at sales, but if I don't believe in it, right now, you want me to convince you why Android's better than iPhone? I'll probably convince you to switch because I believe it and I can talk about it. But if it's something I don't believe in, then, I'm a very transparent guy. So I'm just not going to be able to do it. So I think that was always a big thing for me. And even when I would move on from a company, it was because I no longer believed in the team or the product or the service. And I knew it was time to move on because I didn't have sort of that personal integrity about that service. So yeah, for me, it was really about that. So I went out and just gained the experience and the knowledge that I needed in order to do something that I believed in. That first thing that was successful, let's say, was Fetch and Funnel, a marketing agency. I certainly had some smaller ventures before that, but Fetch and Funnel was certainly my most successful startup to date, let's say. And
Big exit from it, right?
Yeah, sorry.
You had a big exit from it, right?
Yeah, yep. 7-figure exit last year. To a great agency that I was really close with. Certainly happy to talk about how those things happen and what you do and whatnot. But yeah, it was again, same thing. It was sort of time to move on. It was something that I still believe in, but I knew that the industry's changing, things are changing really quickly, and I needed to move on to something that I would be more excited about and more passionate about, and yeah, really just enjoy.
It did. And you know what? I've been particularly very excited about this episode because I had a chat with a couple of my friends on in the bar last weekend, and I've been chatting with my connections on LinkedIn, and I explained to them that I'm interviewing this entrepreneur who has had this great success, but he is actually teaching people how to implement these growth hacks in place. And they were like, their eyes are lit up, exactly like what you were explaining, like when you were in your business school. Founders has this big dilemma where they had to spend all of their time, but more more so their money, they get investment from outside. But what they lack is sometimes how to get more traction, how to get the eyeballs, on their product or services. You've been in this space quite a long time. Uh, you know, Conversion is one of your primary, I guess, skill set or superpower. Would you be able to talk a little bit about your growth system, your growth hacks, which you have used in the past, and potentially it will help our listeners to, implement the similar kind of tips, and techniques?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Growth is different from at every stage, right? And I think it you have to take a step back and realize sort of where you're at and what needs to happen in order to get to where you're trying to go. So the first aspect is really setting your own goals. If you don't have your goals, that's the first place you have to start. And everyone can have different goals. That's totally okay. You don't need a $100 million business, $10 million business if that's not your goal. If you just want to have, if you just want to have time freedom and work a few hours and make enough money for an honest living, that's great. Those are great goals, right? You want to build a $20 million company, that's also great. And so setting clear goals and expectations is so important. And alongside that, understanding your numbers. Understanding your numbers is so important. Understand your cost of acquisition costs, your customer lifetime value, right? Your conversion rate on every section of the funnel, right? What percentage, of leads am I capturing, right? If you have a pop-up form or you're trying to collect leads, what percentage of people are filling out that form? Then what percentage of people are adding to cart, making a purchase, whatever your transaction, whatever you're trying to do online, your cost per phone call, whatever it is, just like know those numbers through and through. And you definitely have to diversify as much as you can. Everyone talks about that in the investing side, right? Diversifying your investment portfolio. But it's also very important on your tech stack and your advertising efforts and everything else you're doing. I've seen so many businesses die by just being solely reliant on Meta and nothing else. And an algorithm change happens and their account tanks, or God forbid, they lose access to their account and their business just is over. And so it's really important to diversify. And then, one of the two things that I urge you to do is truly understand who your ideal customer profile is. So many people don't do that. And even, I speak with 8-9 figure businesses that sometimes don't even know this, right? They say, oh, it's all snowboarders. No. That's part of your addressable market, but that's not your ideal customer profile. And you should really get as specific as humanly possible. Personally, when I'm at an event or I'm mingling with people or meeting other founders, I ask them that question really quite often. And based on their response, internally, like, I don't judge people. I have no judgment, but internally I kind of go, oh, like if they don't know it, right? If they give me this really just generic response, I'm like, oh no, I want to connect you with your ideal customer. Maybe they're here at this event, right? Who is it?
Anybody who lives in US. What?
Yeah.
What? Anybody who is living in US between, I don't know, 30 to 50. Come on, you can do better.
Exactly. And so if you don't know what that is, survey your customers. Call your customers. We've done this for quite a few brands of ours where we have literally encouraged the founder to go call people who just bought. Why did you buy? Thank you so much for being a customer. This is the founder. You think people are going to be upset when the founder calls them for like this purchase? And I don't care about the price point. We definitely have encouraged people, especially for the more expensive products, because they have less purchases. But it doesn't matter what it is. If you're a service-based business, you are more likely to interact with your customer. So you probably have a better feedback loop. If you're selling an info product or in the e-commerce space, you're probably more removed from your customers. So it's even that much more important to truly understand who they are. And the best founders that I work with that were able to scale the most are people who truly understand that. And that was always our job at Fetch and Funnel, was to understand your ideal customer better than you. Because if we can do that, then we can wrap it up into an irresistible offer. We can target who your customer is. We could put the creative and the messaging and everything surrounding that. So that way we're speaking directly to them. We're repelling people who are not our ideal customer, and we're attracting who our ideal customer profile is. And it informs everything, right? It informs the messaging, the creative, the media plan, everything else. And so if you don't have that first, like everything else sort of falls apart.
Yeah.
And and then you can have multiple ideal customer profiles, and that's great. Just speak to each one individually. Don't try to talk to them all at the same time. Have different creative, different landing pages, different offers for those different customers. Again, so you could just speak directly to them. We had this client who was going after, realistically, their addressable market is anybody that has a child with 0 to 5 years old. But a parent that has a 5-year-old is very different than a parent that has a 6-month-old.
1 year old.
Right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
speak differently to them. And so they would just package them all in one and go, are you a parent of a 0 to 5-year-old? Well, we have this amazing program for you, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't care. Right. And if you're talking about my kid walking, my kid's 6 months, I'm like, okay, great. I don't care. This program's not for me.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's really important, because we all, right, we feed off of emotions, and we always want to see ourselves in the website, right? I think one of the things I always love talking about with founders or marketers is the founder story. I'm sorry, the hero's journey, right? And it's so important, right? It's a great book, and it has a really great message. But if you think about how every movie works, the movie has right, the hero, and it has kind of like the narrator. Right. So the hero is actually your customer, and your website is supposed to be the narrator. So you're supposed to walk them through your funnel, no matter where it is. And then again, this just starts encouraging everything else. You start getting the right message in front of the right person at the right time.
Indeed. And I think I picked up some golden nuggets from there. For example, I do have a small startup, it's Art Circles. What we do is we provide access to business owners and community managers to create communities on platform. Now, what I did is I sent an email to all the people who created free community on my platform. And I said, we are planning to launch a lifetime deal. Which plan you would like to have in lifetime deal? I got 12 responses out of 5,000 emails. 12 responses. Out of these 12 responses, 9 people wanted the silver plan, which is where you can create courses, you can charge subscriptions to your community members, as well as you can, send them emails and all kind of communication tools. And I'm like, well, we were thinking about, providing the lifetime deal for the golden package, which is even above than the silver one, right? But nobody cares about it. But because the features we have, developed for the gold one is not serving maximum number of people. So I get that what you're saying. When you talk to your customer, you get those insights which you don't really understand. And then I spoke with each of these 12 people who responded back to me. Would you be able to jump on a call with me? I will be able to give you $100 coupon on top of the, lifetime deal. Remember, right now, I haven't decided how much it's going to be, right? But I already gave them that incentive. So 5 of them jump on the call. They gave me this insight of like, okay, we want this for courses because we are running this language classes. We want this for a subscription because we have a lot of students coming to our program, but then they leave after 3 months. So we want to keep them for 3 months. So all these kind of insights gave me so much idea, which I shared with our growth, hacking personnel in the team. And that tells me talking with your customer is the best thing. I cannot emphasize more on this one. So totally get your point. And thanks for sharing that.
And even the abandoned carters too. Call them too. Like, why did you abandon? Is there any questions you have, right? Run an abandoned cart survey. I don't care if you're trying to collect leads, customers, whatever. There's gold in there. There's gold in there.
Gold in there, definitely. So what I've learned from reading about you online is you are a person who are so good with growth hacking that even big brands are now copying your techniques. They're not going towards their traditional marketing strategies. They're coming to you, they're asking you what are the different growth hacking techniques we could implement for our particular brand to grow more. 28% of our listeners are the people who are either in their 9 to 5 job and they want to get into their founder space, or a little bit of those people are who are already got their seed funding by accelerator programs, Antler, EF, YC, etc. Uh, Considering going through these numbers, what I realized that most of them are SaaS founders, software founders, application founders. Would you be able to share some tangible, helpful techniques or strategies for the audience which is catering towards the software?
Usually they're the worst marketers, funny enough. I come from the SaaS space and I'm going back into the SaaS space.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes they're the worst marketers. It's so funny. I don't know why. They build this amazing technology, these amazing programs, and they just don't know how to talk about it. I think like, right, everything always comes back to benefits.
Mhm.
Benefits. I've worked with some of the best conversion coaches in the world when I was early in my career, and that was one of the biggest learnings I ever had, that if anybody takes anything away from this podcast, like that's it. It doesn't matter if you're an employee or you're starting a company or you run a very successful company. Make sure to highlight what the benefits are to the end user. If you're an employee, what are the benefits to your employer of what you're doing? Right? If you are starting a business, what is your service, right? What is your SaaS platform or whatever? What benefits does it offer to people's life? SaaS is notorious about talking about the features, and features should translate into benefits. How does this one feature make my life better?
Better, yeah.
And I love the idea of funnel hacking, right? I certainly didn't come up with that term, but the idea of looking at who your competitors are. And I urge people to do that all the time. And I don't mean just like, okay, a lot of founders might say, well, I don't have a direct competitor. Okay, find a cool SaaS company that you like, right? Look at Monday.com, for example. Okay, their ads are amazing. Their landing pages are great. They're converting people at a super high click. That is one of the most competitive spaces there are, right? In reality, right? And now they're adding more features, listening to their customers, and like that's a great business to funnel hack, for example, right? Like what's working for them. Go to Facebook ads library. You can literally go to facebook.com/ads/library, look up any business and see what ads they're running. You could do the same for Google, and there's apps for YouTube, and it's very endless. Like save those ads, like look at their ads, right? And always pay attention to what speaks to you. Right? If you see an ad and you're like, this ad sucks, great, then ignore it. But if you see an ad and you're like, oh, this is a good ad, like hack it, right? How can you make a similar version? And maybe they have bigger budgets. You could do it for lower budgets. It doesn't need to be this super high produced. Actually, some of the lower produced ones convert much better for us than the really highly produced ones.
Yeah.
But really highlighting those things can be some of the biggest differentiators for you. I mentioned earlier understanding your metrics across the entire funnel, but if you have an offline funnel, that's just as important. Understanding where everything, right, from website visitor or from first time click, right, all the way to conversion, right? We've come in and like Kissmetrics is a great example. We did everything. We did all this conversion rate stuff for Kissmetrics. We were running their ad, doing a bunch of stuff. It's a big SaaS platform back in the day. They're not as big now anymore, but and it was like their offline metrics sucked. So once we got the leads, we got the demos, but they just weren't converting people. And so there was some sort of disconnect. Now, is it the sales team or is it the quality of the leads? So having that feedback loop is very important. Whether you work with an agency or you have an internal team, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you have that feedback loop and that collaboration so you can start to just talk about that, right? And have those conversations. So you're understanding like what your conversion rate is across everything. And especially on the sales cycle, if you have a sales team or anything like that, know the numbers across everything, right? How many, okay, this is the cost of a demo. How many demos convert? What's the lead source of those leads that are converting at the highest, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The more you understand those numbers, the more powerful you can be, because you just start optimizing one area only, right? You just say, okay, my cost per lead seems a bit high. What can I do to reduce that? Oh, my demo to close is too low. What can I do to enhance that? Oh, I have 5 sales guys and one is closing demos. 80% higher than anybody else. What is he or she doing differently? Sit down with them and be like, what are you doing differently? And what can we do to teach the rest of the team, right? That was one thing. I was a sales rep at WordStream, a really big, successful SaaS company. They had a big exit. I was one of the original team members, grew to like 300 employees or so, big exit. And I was one of the big team leads and whatnot there. And they came to me and they were like, Samir, you're selling Facebook and no one else is, not a single person on this team is selling Facebook and you're the only one selling it. And you're selling it at such a high rate. We don't even understand what's happening here. Like, what are you doing differently? And I said, oh, that's easy. Let me tell you. Because I hear the guys around me what they're doing, right? And so I inform them what I'm doing. And they're like, would you hold a training for the rest of the team? Of course. I'd be happy to. I want everybody to succeed, right? And so I did a training and then lo and behold, everybody starts closing Facebook, right? And so it's really important to do those things, ask questions, encourage your team members to train other team members. It's so important, and hire freaking amazing people, right? I think that's the other big piece. Like, hey, if this person, like, oh, they're pretty good. Yeah. Like, just get people who blow you away, hire amazing people. Make sure you hire people who are smarter than you in the thing that you're hiring them for so that it can educate you. And only give them 90 days too, if they don't impress you in 90 days, they most likely will never impress you.
Indeed. Yeah. And we had some great guests on the show who share some really good strategies around hiring and how to keep talent in-house. So,
go back and listen to those episodes, everybody, because that's gold.
That's gold, right? So let's talk about AI. Everybody is talking about AI. AI is a new trend, and this is not my words, I've heard it, which might not blow on your face. This is what I've heard on LinkedIn. Somebody said that, right? I think it's not, because it's a technology which we have used for more than a year now, and it's actually benefiting humans. So it's not like Web3, which came across blockchain. One of the biggest use case we have seen from blockchain is crypto, but otherwise it was just small tricklets, here and there. German government using it for banking purposes. I think UK has announced that they are moving towards crypto soon, things like that. But it hasn't actually affected a general human being's life who is, going to a train station in the morning for work, etc., right? In terms of advertising, is it an overrated buzzword? Or, in your opinion, it's a secret weapon?
Neither. I think it's very underrated. I think, to your point, first off, blockchain's not a trend. Blockchain's here to stay. We're already in Web 5, so Web 3 is catching up slowly. But yeah, to your point, a lot of people throw AI in the trend bucket. Oh, first it was, drop shipping, then it was this, then it was an Amazon store, then it was this. Now it's an AI business. No. AI is here to stay. And the sooner you integrate it into your workflow, your processes, your company, your day-to-day, your whatever, just enables you to have superpowers, just like you said. And I encourage everybody to mess with it all the time. Like, you have to become an expert at it. It's just not going anywhere. It's here to stay, and it's only evolving. It's only going to get faster and faster and faster and faster. So, and I think now it's harder to use than it will be. And so actually learning those skills now is so important. And, I wrote out this whole thing to the team that I sold my agency to the bigger agency. And what I was telling them was how important communication is now, written communication. And a lot of us are really bad at it. And I said, I notice, certain team members, whatever, not great at online Slack typing communication. And it's so important because in theory, you're going to be managing 15, 20, 25 agents. That will be your job, these AI agents, and they will be going and doing the work for you. And so the sooner you can learn that skill, the sooner you can take advantage of those resources. I think today, if you figure it out and you're really good at it, maybe you could work less. In the future, it's just required.
Mm.
People, you're either going to be, everyone's like, oh, is it going to take my job? No, it's just, but if you don't learn it, if you don't adapt with it, then you might be replaced with someone who does use it.
Does it? Yeah, exactly. Who knows how to handle the agents? Yeah.
Exactly. And so, there's a billion platforms, there's a billion software, and there's stuff coming out nonstop. So it is a little overwhelming. I understand that. Even I've entrusted my assistant in just always finding new things for me to check out. And that's like one
Mm.
of her main jobs right now, is just always being on top of cool software, cool AI SaaS is coming out. Now, it needs to be specific to your job function, to your role, to whatever you're doing. If you're a creative, it's endless. If you're a writer, it's endless, right? And so just understanding what benefits you, and then just go and watch some YouTube tutorials. Go, like, get your Instagram feed to start serving you, or TikTok feed, or whatever. If you spend time on social media, don't watch smut, and actually try to use it. Try to teach the algorithm to teach you things that you want. My algorithms I love, because everything in my algorithms are just learning, things to learn, podcasts I love, whatever it is, right? And so if I go and scroll a little bit, it's not like, it's what I'm actually learning a bunch of information, finding new bots, finding new AI tools, finding out new things. And so, yeah, I mean, and it's moving at the speed of light, man. I can give you so many examples that, like, overnight, it's so crazy that it's just how
Well, why
incredible it is.
why don't you talk about your AI venture you're working on?
Mine's fun. So it's on the blockchain. So yeah, we're building a Web3 platform to help anybody with fans create new forms of monetization. And so the way that we're going to be using AI in the background is bubbling up opportunities to people. So very similar to you, I think it's very important for people to be building communities. I don't care who you are. I don't care if it's a brand, if it's a SaaS, if it's a product. You should be building some community. You should be rewarding your fans. You should be doing interesting things to engage with them and create exciting opportunities for them. And not enough people do that. Like, look at the best brands in the world. That's what they do. Right? Look at what Ferrari does. Look at what Rolex does. Look at what Hermes does. Look at the top brands and how they're able to create so much FOMO, so much desire, take care of their VIP customers, right? It's really important to do that. Like, if you run a SaaS platform and you've got 20 enterprise customers that are just paying you, 6 figures a month, put them in a room together. Like, do a webinar together, do a meetup together, throw an event together,
Three
right?
course
Like,
meal.
do
Yeah, five
something.
star.
I
Yeah.
guarantee those 10 people meeting not only will increase your sticky factor and reduce your churn, but they will also help each other, benefit from each other, right? They're all using your platform in a similar space. I'm not telling you to put your entire community into one group, right? But reward those people. And I just don't see enough people do that. I wish I even did that in the agency space, and I realized that earlier on. I think if I created little mini masterminds and created subsets of our customers into little, like, micro groups, or, hey guys, we're gonna run a training this week for all our e-commerce clients. Oh, we're gonna run a training this next week for all our SaaS clients, and just put them in a room together where they could all meet and interact with each other. It would have been so powerful. And so, yeah, so what we're building is really cool. I mean, I got nothing to pitch anybody today. We're gonna be live in the next few months. We're building some really cool stuff. But yeah,
What's
it's
his name? At least tell us the
Avanti
name.
3. Yeah,
Avanti
Avanti
3.
3. Avanti means to move forward in Italian, and 3 because it's Web3, 3 founders, whatever you have. We'll see if that'll be the name that sticks when it launches. But yeah, people can sign up for the beta, or at least get information about it and whatnot. It's gonna be we're gonna revolutionize the music industry for sure. That's the space that we're playing in more than anywhere now. Again, ideal customer profile, carving that out. We've got that mapped out to no end, right? We know exactly who we're going after. There's different subsets of them. And even before going live, we tested funnels, did cost of acquisition, tactics, all sorts of things, right? MVP style. I love MVPs. I think that's the other thing in the SaaS world you could do, right? If you're a founder and you're building this technology, see if you can get anybody to just give you a few dollars, refund them. It doesn't matter, right? Just test it out and see if you can get people interested. I mean, we're generating leads for $2 and converting people at 100. And we're like, great, the numbers work.
That's amazing. That's
Like, amazing. And then it makes investor conversations easier and everything else, because if you know those numbers, you're 100 times more powerful than someone who doesn't know those numbers.
Doesn't know them. Indeed. That's That's very, very powerful, Samir. And before we go to our lightning round, where we have some six quick fire question for you, I always ask my guests a selfish question. Selfish question is because I always asked to pick their mind to learn from them. And today I think it's my opportunity to pick your mind for one question. If you would been at my place, a founder of a platform which enables user to, create communities for the businesses or their community itself, what would be your step-by-step process or even a strategy to gain more traction?
So again, I would look at who the top players are and what they're doing in order
Hmm.
to encourage customer acquisition, right? I
Our
think
industry has just few meetup.com and Facebook, to be honest.
school now, no,
School is
right?
very, I think we are not even close to school. It's so different and big.
Yeah, yep.
I don't, yeah,
Yeah, well, and obviously you got major influence from, from the Hormozy family and whatnot, right? But
yeah.
I feel as if there's still a lot of learnings there, right? And incentivizing people to recommend it, incentivizing people to get other people in. I think that's always one of the best things you can do. If you can create some kind of referral engine in any way, shape, or form, it's so powerful.
Mm,
Inviting friends, colleagues, whatever. If you look at some of the most successful, I mean, ClickFunnels did $1 billion last year.
yeah,
And all they
yeah,
are payment processor at the end of the day, really, is
yeah.
how they make their money, right? Yes, it's a SaaS platform. Yes, it's in the way they run, right? But like they're a payment processor at the end of the day. I mean, look how they ran it, right? They ran it into the as almost, like an MLM. Not really, but almost.
They host one of the biggest events in the world. Most of their, subscription literally come from these events because they say, "Oh, we are giving you $5,000 worth of package for like I don't know, $99
Yep.
a month or something."
Right. And right. And then think about how fast they grew. And then look at Go High Level. So Go High Level just cannibalizes probably half of ClickFunnels customers because they pivot to agencies because they create a white labeled product. It was essentially identical to ClickFunnels. Now it's got extra features and whatever, but it was really like a ClickFunnels clone.
Mm,
And it was they just enabled a white labeled platform, right? And so like I always just love studying everyone who's succeeding and why are they succeeding. Like Go High Level doesn't have good marketing. They're not right. They're not doing anything. Even HubSpot, probably one of the best examples as well, right? HubSpot did it through agency partners, right? Through partnerships, through their customers acquiring customers for them, which is
mm.
incredible. So, are there opportunities to do that? Are there opportunities to bring people into the fold? I think one of the big things is, of course, encouraging people why they need communities. We started talking a little bit about that, but of course, like, what are the benefits of having a community and showcasing those case studies? Hey, here's what this brand did. Here's what this software platform did. Here's what this individual did. And what having a community enabled them to do, because I think that's always the hardest problem is most individuals may not be able to see with their blinders on what it is that this
Why should I
brings me.
have a
I don't really
community?
want to
Yeah.
start a community, right? I run
Mm,
an agency. Why would I start a community? That makes no sense. Like I
mm,
don't have anybody to sell, right? Well, I don't really want to teach other people to start an agency. So what would I start a community on? And 5 minutes ago, I was just talking about how if I had actually built a couple small subsets of communities with my customers, it would have been incredible.
mm.
Right. But if I can't picture that or understand what that looks like or what the benefit of that is, then it's difficult for me to do. Right. And so I think also showcasing, again, ideal customer profile. You're like, hey, I'm just saying agencies, for lack of a better example. We're like, hey, we work with lots of agencies and we found them to, right. It's like studying who is the best person using the platform now and the people that are growing the biggest communities that are really succeeding. Okay, what niche are they in? What industry are they in? Going to them, hey, can I interview you really quickly and talk about how you've been able to be so successful? Create little short clips out of that and hammer the internet with it, right? And then right, I spent $8 on Amazon and I bought $30,000 of fake 100s. Okay.
Wow.
So I have
Okay.
all these fake $100 bills. Okay. And what I did is I light them on fire as
Mm.
my hook. Okay. So I
Wow.
say, every minute that you don't do this thing, you might as well be lighting money on fire.
There
You
you
can have
go.
a very similar type of angle.
Mm.
You know, it doesn't have to be as aggressive. I've got a lot of energy, so it fits my personal brand. But if you don't, that's also okay, right? But that's a strong hook. You capture my attention. What the is this guy doing? Why is he setting money on fire? What's going on? No, I am doing that. It's like every day, right? If you're an agency owner and every day that you don't have a community, you might as well be lighting fire. What? Like I am an agency owner and I don't have a community. Why would I have a community? And then you're like,
Yeah.
here, and then you're instantly they're hearing it from someone else because you have those little clips. So it's not you selling me, right? It's like the user generated content model in the e-commerce space, right?
Mm.
I, as the founder, don't want to tell you how amazing my product is. I want customers to tell you how amazing our products are. Very
Yeah.
similar in the community, SaaS place, whatever, right? Just if you can get a couple interviews, take little short clips from those and just showcase to people how they can use the technology. Like that's what we have to do at Avanti 3 because what we're building is so revolutionary. No one's going to know how to use the tech and they're going to have no idea all the bells and whistles and how endless it is. So we need to work directly with their team, their creative team and our creative team to develop the plan. And we're going to base it off of other success stories. Hey, this is what worked really well for Rihanna. You're in a very similar industry. It seems like you
Mm.
have a very similar customer base. These are the three most interesting things we did for her fan base and how we were able to blow up her community. This is what we did. We think something similar would work for you, but let's tweak it a little bit for your personal brand, right? And you're of course different and customizing that, right? And then, you know, and of course like encouraging them to provide value because obviously community's garbage unless you provide value. But
Indeed. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. There's lots of communities on school which I joined to learn, and then I realized that it's not going so well, so I have to unjoin it. But yeah, I get your point. What you're
Yeah.
saying.
I mean, that's the giveaway problem, right? Like
Yeah.
encouraging everybody and their mother to start a community as part of a big giveaway program.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Great stuff. So I'm really enjoying this conversation, but we are limited of time. So let's jump into our lightning round. We got 6 quick fire questions for you. If you don't want to answer one of them, just let me know and then we can skip it. Are you ready?
Ready.
Great stuff. What's the top 3 strategies to generate leads in 2025?
Post a lot on organic, no matter what. Post on organic. Post as much content as you can, a couple times a day if you can. Post on the channels that are the most important to you. Like Facebook is coming back in a really meaningful way and whatever platforms make the most sense to you. Run paid ads. You got to run paid ads, generate leads. One of the best ways for you to do it. You usually can test a lot faster than you can organically, depending. And pay attention to your creative. Really work on your creative. So that leads
Your
back to the other
messaging.
two. But make sure that
Yeah,
you've got killer creative and pay attention to what's converting and what's not. And just continue to iterate and test and iterate and test and try to understand why what didn't work, why it didn't work, and why what's working is working.
indeed. Indeed. What book would you recommend to our audience and why?
There's too many books, man. Everybody's in a different position. I think people aren't great at sales. So I'll shout out another agency owner, Sabri Subi, Sell Like Crazy. I think it's one of the best books. Everybody needs to get better at sales. And man, I read this book every 2 years or so, right? Like it's always on my desk because I just thumb through it. So,
Mm,
I mean, this is a golden one. If you haven't read How to Win
it's
Friends
the
and
old
Influence
classic.
People, obviously you
Yeah,
got to read that one.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and culture-wise, the Netflix book, I just grabbed that from the library 2 days ago and just started reading it. It's incredible.
The Netflix. Okay.
Yeah.
Add that into
It's
my
all about
reading list.
culture. It's incredible.
Yeah. I'm going through the Profit First right now from
Profit First is great. I love
Yeah.
Profit First. I've got that right there too. Yeah, Profit
Yeah.
First is great.
So maybe after that, I'll put that Netflix one in it. Great. What's one attribute or characteristic in your mind of a successful founder?
The desire to succeed over the fear of failure.
Quite deep. A lot of people just fear the failure, and that's why they give up.
Yeah.
But having the desire
fear
more.
fear is never a good driver.
Mm,
You're already starting from a place of scarcity. You want to be driving from a place of abundance.
Mm,
However you can do that is the most important thing that you can possibly do. And message me if you want to go deep on that, because I could talk for hours on that.
definitely, definitely. Great. What's your favorite personal productivity tool or habit?
Working out.
Mm,
Working out. I work
every
out
day.
hard. I work out hard 5, 6 days a week. Personally, I only do calisthenics because I
Mm-hmm.
think it gives me good mobility, longevity, stability. For me, I just want to live to be really, 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 really old. Whatever that looks like when we become really, really, really old. Maybe it's 200. Maybe it's
Yeah,
300.
maybe it's 200. Yeah, we don't know. What's a new or a crazy business idea you would love to pursue if you had time?
I'm doing it. So I can't think of anything else because we're building the future. We're
Mm,
doing cool stuff in virtual reality and augmented reality and AI and Web3 and everything else. I love philanthropy. So if it was anything else, and yeah, I mean we're putting a huge philanthropic angle on our business anyways, but it would be something in the philanthropy space that would truly revolutionize the world. Um, like I love the 5 Hour Energy guy. Have you seen his documentary and like all the cool science stuff he actually does?
I heard that already. Not yet. Is it on
Yeah,
YouTube?
5 Hour
I'll
Energy
watch
is
it.
just like little energy shots, little like
Oh, okay.
energy shots you buy at, grocery store,
Mm,
drugstore, whatever. And the guy's like has the best science lab in the world practically. And he gives them unlimited budget and he says, you solve three problems: health, energy, and water.
mm,
And I won't go into what they've done, but what they've done is incredible. And what they try to focus on is like emerging markets, not appealing to the wealthy, right? Like, okay, how can someone in a small home in India or wherever power their entire house by riding a bicycle for 15 minutes and power their house for an entire day? Cool stuff.
that's really cool. Yeah.
So it would be something like that.
Nice. And last but not least, what's an interesting or fun fact about you that most people don't know?
I was a classically trained pianist at 7 years old. And went on to play other instruments and perform a lot. And actually, I'm really grateful for that. So if there are any parents here listening, if you're already older, it might be too late. But if you're a parent, I certainly encourage you to get your kid performing, whatever it is. It doesn't need to be music. I swear that gave me so much confidence as a kid that you could put me on a stage with 20,000 people and I won't be nervous. And so it was actually an amazing skill set to learn too.
Perfect. Samir, thank you so much for joining me and sharing your story and, unpacking the last years and what you're planning to do in the future for the business. People want to check out your new venture or just get in touch with you. What's the best way to do it?
I'm the only Samir ElKamouny in the world, so it's pretty easy to find me. So whatever channel you want to connect with me on, hit me up. Insta, LinkedIn, whatever. I'm online. So yeah, I love helping everybody too. So if you want to, shoot the breeze, talk about your venture, you want a couple tips and tricks, I'm always open to help anybody out. So like I said, I got nothing to sell you. I love when people succeed. I love like my purpose in life is instilling financial freedom in others. So if there's any way that I can help you along your journey, no matter where you are in your journey, I'd love to help you. And I appreciate the opportunity, Ash.
Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your inspiring journey and the impactful work you're doing by helping others. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on Founders Podcast.